Also talk about the latest crime statistics. They're out this morning at 9:30. And, I mean, this won't come as a surprise to anybody who's visited their local high street lately, that shoplifting offences recorded by the police in England and Wales have risen to the highest level since data for this current period began, 2003, the latest ONS data. A total of 430,000 offences were recorded in the year to December last year, up 37% in the previous 12 months. But this, I mean, as they say, it's the highest figure since they started recording this. Now, crucial thing about here is that retail representatives, they've said that they believe now, because of the total abject lack of police turning up, even turning up at all, doing any investigation at all, anyone ever being arrested, even when they've been identified by the shopkeepers, by name and with CCTV, them actually being prosecuted, getting anything other than a slap on the wrist, ever actually going to jail, as we're told that they would if repeat offenders, the shopkeepers are no longer actually reporting shoplifting. It is thought that only a third of shoplifting offences are actually reported. We've told the government they're going to do something about this, but they talk about the other day, what was it, more facial recognition technology and things like that. The shopkeepers know who they're regulars. They're regulars. A lot of them are organised criminals working, basically to a list of things to go nick. This is untenable, isn't it, to continue like this?
Completely untenable. Some of the big retail outlets have already written into their profit margins stock that's been written off because it's been stolen. The individuals that are doing this, there are gangs that are going through. My wife works in retail, and she sees the same people coming in, and they will just sweep the shelves of stuff that they know.
They come in en masse.
They come in en masse, and they know that it can then be taken down to sold at the local car boot sale or wherever, and they're making profit on it. And then you've got the druggies that are coming in through, and the staff in stores can't stop them because they face the sack if they do. The police don't get involved. Reports do go through to the police because a lot of the time the store managers need that police report number so that they can turn around and say, put it against their losses.
But it's an admin exercise.
It's admin.
Speaking to my local stores in my local high street last week, most people's got to know. I've lived there for 17 years, got to know quite a lot of people. And, the managers of the stores will say, this is a nightmare. You heard that store's closed down, that store's going to close down. A number of the stores on I live in a nice area, OK? It's not like I'm living on some sort of, drug-addled estate or something.
Better stuff to nick.
You know what I mean? No, the shops aren't. They're not that great, but I mean, but bog standard high street shops. But they now routinely, a lot of them, they have their doors locked.
Yeah.
This isn't the Chanel store. It's not Bond Street. These are stores, selling houseware goods and birthday cards and things. But they lock their doors and they have a member of staff standing at the door because they have to stop the shoplifters, because they come in, they distill so much and they go, and the police do nothing about it. And we basically had the government legalising, or the police on their part, legalising shoplifting. If you sold less than 100 quid, and now it's up to about 200 quid. And people actually, when it was 100 quid, I know some of the shopkeepers told me, people will come in and they literally make sure they steal like £99 worth of goods, and they add it up and they throw away an item that takes it over because they know they won't be prosecuted if they keep under that limit.
Yeah, and this is where we need community policing back. That shoplifting incident will result and fuel either illegal sales or drug taking or other misbehaviour within the community, and has a disproportionate impact across local communities.
But it's just the general feeling of disorder and that it's okay for people to get away with stuff, and that dishonesty does pay. And there is a point, you go, well, how come I'm queuing up at the till and paying for all this? And by the way, I'm paying more because they're having to re-queue those losses. And you're getting away with it. And for some reason, society has said, not society, because we haven't said it, the police have said it, and the politicians have given into it. They're just not going to bother. And they refer to it as low-level crime. If you run a small shop and you're having, 10% of your stock stolen every week, that is not a minor crime.
Well, one of the major outlets that went bust, their chief executive referred to shoplifters as non-paying customers. And when you start to do that and don't provide security staff and don't provide anything else, no wonder you go out of business.
Yeah, but you can't blame them. But that's the thing. You tackle somebody. I've spoken to security guards as well. They said, I tackle somebody, they get violent with me, I get injured. I'm not going to be looked after.
Yep.
Why should I'm on minimum wage? With all due respect, what's the point? Nothing's going to happen.
Yep.
The guy I tackle is going to take action against me. I'm going to face prosecution myself for assault. We have it's lawlessness. It really is. But we're going to be talking to Peter Blexley about this in a couple of moments, and also this horrific school stabbing where a teacher is lucky to be alive, having been stabbed in the neck. A teenage girl has been arrested, and obviously this now sub judice case. But the thing about these stories is. As two teachers are in hospital, taken to hospital, a teenage girl as well in a playground. These stories really do sort of, frighten parents because we see these stories from America where kids actually have drills in what to do when someone comes in and starts shooting everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, we got rid of an awful lot of guns after Dunblane here. Sensible move in my view, but the stabbing is absolutely terrifying. That your child could go to school, teaching at school, and you're having to deal with this.
Well, and the school went into code red, which was the lockdown, and I've read stories of pupils hiding in toilets and hiding in different places. And if we're having to bring those sorts of processes into our schools, something's going wrong. I grew up in schools where terrorism was happening all around, and we didn't have those sort of evacuation.
In Northern Ireland, you didn't have that.
In Northern Ireland,
they weren't really targeting at that time.
They didn't target schools or people in schools. But again, this is another bladed weapon, and it's because we don't have access to shooting weapons in this country, which the Americans have.
But the reality is, anybody who does attempt to kill someone in a school or anywhere, they can kill fewer people with over a long period of time with a knife than they can with a weapon. And so I still think those laws are all right.